Hey, good evening and welcome to Real Fellas Talk Sports. I have the pleasure of being your host this evening. I'm Larry Abels, and I'm with the distinguished fellas. So let me introduce them to you. First, we'll start off with the man, the loquacious one from the sports capital of the world, David Burnett. How you doing, David?
I'm doing fine, and I'm so glad that you acknowledge the sports capital because it deserves every bit of that acknowledgement. And I'm just sitting here happy as can be, looking forward to tonight's show.
It's always a pleasure to have you here. Next, I'm going to do Greg Fenner. What's up, Mr. Fenner? How you doing?
Mr. Abels, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm doing great. It is no night better than Wednesday night. I love Wednesday night.
Okay, and last but not least, longtime friend, high school classmate, neighborhood buddy, Charles Chuck Snow. How you doing, Chuck?
Hey, Larry, I'm doing wonderful. I love being with you guys on Wednesday night. We've been doing this for 5+ years, so maybe even 6 years. It's just amazing. It never gets old for me, and I love chopping up sports, the weekend sports with you guys. And here we
Kung
go.
Fu.
And Kung Fu's been with us almost the whole time.
I was thinking the same thing.
Hey, Kung Fu.
Well, let's get started. And guys, I'm gonna throw y'all. I know I sent the schedule out, but I'm gonna do it in reverse order. We're gonna start with the NCAA, and let's start with the NCAA women. Let's go through the semifinals and finals. Greg, we'll start with you. What observations did you have about the Final Four?
Just an incredibly competitive game, basketball games. The women, I love watching women, not only because they're just great players, but their fundamentals are sound. The energy is always, at peak level. And we saw some players come out this year, some players pop up that, just incredible. Like UCLA came out of nowhere and just obliterated everybody. And of course, we're talking about Mr. Ill-mannered, unprofessional, disrespectful, Mr. Gino A. And A is for.
I want to get to him. We'll get to him in a second. But
the basketball was great, though. The basketball was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of UCLA. I'm proud of South Carolina, what they did. They were outmatched, but UCLA, hats off, man. They played their game.
David, your thoughts on the basketball aspects of it. Trust me, guys, we'll talk about the antics of Gino shortly.
It was good basketball. South Carolina played well against UConn, and that was their championship. They were able to stun UConn. UCLA just was the best team. And, it showed when they edged Texas and then when they obliterated South Carolina. UCLA, another Big Ten team. By the way, I want to just make note. This is a Big Ten year. And I'm in Big Ten country.
Yes,
UCLA with the women, Indiana football with the men, Michigan with the men's basketball. Who's the dominant conference? Enough said.
Hey, sorry, Earl Rush. If Earl is listening tonight, sorry about that,
Earl.
Patrick Lee, thanks for joining us, buddy. Good to see you.
Patrick.
My man, Patrick.
Hey, Patrick.
Chuck, what were your observations about the tournament?
I agree. It was good. It was a good tournament. Good, I just have to take my hats off to South Carolina, the strategy they used against UConn. I mean, UConn was a juggernaut. They was like a hot, like Greg would say, like a hot knife through butter all season long through everybody. And yet, Dawn and those ladies from South Carolina figured out a way by defending and up in their grill and hands everywhere. Yeah. It reminded me a little bit of how Georgetown played in the 80s or how St. John plays today, where they just get after you. And they did, and it's disrupted UConn and Strong and Fudd. They just couldn't score against that defense. And so I tip my hat to the way they did that. And UCLA was just strong all weekend against both Texas and UConn. So it was good. I love watching it, and I watched it all.
Chuck, what players stood out to you in the tournament?
Betts stood out to me a lot. But in terms of UCLA, Betts and Hakis, I'm probably messing her name up, and Kiki's from Washington, so I was watching her closely. But the truth is that entire starting five was awesome for UCLA. So, but the Betts, I want to give Betts more credit because I felt like in that game against South Carolina didn't have an answer for Betts. And they know how to get that ball into her, and she knows how to finish when she gets that thing inside. So shout out to Miss Betts.
Dave, what player stood out to you?
Lauren Betts, just like Chuck said, she's just an outstanding player, and she's going to go places in the next level. She was really the foundation for UCLA. I didn't realize how good UCLA was. They've been on the cusp the last couple of years, thanks to Lauren Betts. But she's the engine, and they've got a great collection of players around her, and they're going to be hard to handle next year without her.
Well, they did have a seniors-laden squad this year, they kind of shut up. Greg, any players stand out to you?
So I'm a Kiki fan. I love Kiki. I think she's just a player, man. But I think Betts also. But here's the reason that that Betts really stands out for me. There were high expectations for her. I mean, these are the kind of expectations that players fold under the pressure a lot of times. She played up to the expectations, but she also did everything that she needed to do to win. She didn't just block shots. She didn't just shoot layups. She got on the floor. She chased loose balls. She assisted. She's a better shooter than I thought she was. She shot the ball well. So for those reasons, I thought Betts, hats off to her, man. But the other one I thought Raven Johnson, she didn't have a standout game, but I think she's just such a great player. She's so fast. She gets after it, man. And I think South Carolina's going to be around for a while because of the younger players they have. And UCLA was senior laced the way teams used to be before NIL and the transfer portal. But they really they live. And I love the coach. I mean, when Coach brought her mom in at the end, I mean, her energy. It's such an emotional game, and I thought Coach tapped into the emotion of the players really well.
One other thing I want to say about Betts. Betts has had a tough time, right? She's even acknowledged to the world she had some tough times in her life in terms of her size and how she fit in socially. She went through some depression, and she just talks about it as candidly as we're talking about it now. And so I give her a lot of credit to stick with it and come out on the other side the way she is coming out on the other side. Yeah.
Well, Greg, while I had you mentioned two things, the coach and emotions, talking about some coach, but I want to talk about a particular coach that I don't know if you have any comments on it, but what about Gino and his emotions after the game?
Funny you mentioned
your thoughts on the incident?
Yeah, funny you mentioned Gino. I think he's a coward. I think he's a bully. Woo! I think he's entitled, and he showed every ounce of his entitlement, his American man entitlement, that this can't possibly be happening to me, letting profanity fly during timeout interviews, disrespecting Dawn Staley and her entire team, storming off into the locker room like a child. And I will tell you that, there's no place in college sports for that kind of behavior, especially women's sports. And here's what it made me think. It made me ask, is it time for us to think about, are men the proper coaches for these young ladies? Should men be coaching women in college basketball? I'm not sure. I don't want to indict every man.
That's what it sounds like you're doing based on
I want to indict every male coach, but let me tell you, he's not helping men in coaching women in college sports. He's not helping by acting the way he acted. And I just thought, Dawn Staley, I give her a lot of credit for being able to contain herself and not actually physically, Coach did that with Juwan Howard not long ago, and it cost him some jawbone muscles. It cost him a little bit. So, I respect Dawn Staley and I love her to death. And she showed who the real classy person is, but I'm done with Gino. I think he's disrespectful. And I don't think, and his apology was like this left-handed, if I offended anybody kind of to the South Carolina program. No, you offended Dawn Staley. Apologize to her. So that's all I had to say.
David, your thoughts on the same subject. Gino's reaction after the game?
Well, his actions were appalling. But at the same time, I want to bring some balance to it. The fact is, he's the greatest female basketball coach in history.
Agreed.
You don't win 12 championships for nothing. That said, I think when coaches start acting the way he acted, and he's had a history. If you look at his history against a lot of the women coaches historically, whether it was Pat Summitt, whether it's McGraw, he's treated women coaches poorly, but his actions never went over the top like it did this past weekend. That said, it looks like he's at the end. And usually when you see actions like that, it's the actions of somebody who's pondering the end of his career. And he's 70-something years old, early 70s.
Hey, watch that.
Well, look, all of us except Greg are over 70
Right.
now.
And he ain't far behind.
But once you get to a certain point, you're thinking about other things. Sometimes your judgment is not right. I'm not saying he's demented. I'm not saying that. But he acted demented.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was really disappointed, and he should have apologized directly to Dawn, but he wasn't in the right mental frame of mind to do that. And we've seen male coaches coaching men who've shown reprehensible behavior as well. And coaching at that level, making $10 million, and I think Gino makes about $3-4 million a year, as he should, but he's under pressure. They were undefeated, easily the best team this year. He felt pressure, and he collapsed under that pressure.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that some men act that way too. That coach men's team. Chuck, your thought about it? Is it?
I think Greg and David both said things perfectly well, and shout out to the two of them for saying the way they said. And I'm not going to pile on too much because they said it perfectly. What I don't understand is we've watched Gino enough. I have in other games and other tournaments, and he's had other losses. I just didn't see this coming. I don't know what. I thought it was. For me, I thought it was incredibly out of character because I hadn't seen this before. And oh, by the way, even after it calmed down and he had his apology, it was terrible. And he finally, the next day or two, he reached out to Dawn, apologized to her directly, gave a more proper apology. And as Dawn said, I'm ready to turn the page. I'm just so shocked. And like we give other people, say they had bad games or bad days. Maybe Gino just had a really, really, really bad day. I don't know.
Well, I think that's a very, thing that one should consider. And if it was a male coach doing that to another male coach, do you think people would have looked at it the same way?
No.
I don't know, Larry. Larry. That was pretty bad. Because he was making stuff up. He was like, I had to wait for her to shake her hand, and
let's not get carried away. Some of the male coaches have been ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous over history, and I think the problem is it was a man against a woman.
Well, that's what I'm kind of getting at. Are we holding this? In one sense, they're two equal coaches. That's the way we should look at it. Both of them are pretty much holding the same positions at different universities. If a man had done that to another man, will we look at it as harshly?
No,
another man would have probably hit him over the head with a chair if he had done that.
Not necessarily. If John Thompson did that to somebody, I don't think that would have happened to him.
Well, but John Thompson wasn't a bully. This guy's a bully. John Thompson was not a bully. John Thompson was an incredibly fair man who never used his size to intimidate people intentionally, but he would call out right and wrong.
You said the right word.
If he had a day like that, I doubt if anyone would have hit him over the head with a chair.
Listen, I met John Thompson a few times, and Chuck knew him well because Chuck went to school there.
I know him too.
He was one of the most intimidating men I've ever met. I'm telling you, he was incredibly intimidating.
I saw him every Sunday at Channel 5, WTTG. Very intimidating guy, quiet.
Such a nice, intelligent man.
But he was a smart man.
Yeah.
Well,
I doubt if anybody would have hit him over the head with a chair. I heard him cuss Lefty Drizel on one time.
Yeah. Well, and Lefty probably provoked it. I remember Lefty.
And he's not a little Lefty's not a little guy either, but he didn't make a move on him.
He ain't no match for Big John, though. But
him and Boeheim have had some, they've had some words during a game.
I just
had never seen Gino behave that way.
I feel the same way, Chuck. I think so, and I think it's certainly he had a bad day. A lot of coaches have a lot of egos. I've heard stuff about what's the lady that used to coach Tennessee?
Pat Summitt.
Right. I heard she had attitude certain times, but I wonder how much his gender's playing into it. That's all.
Yeah,
speaking of gender switching, I didn't say switching, but speaking of genders, let's switch to the men.
I think I'm gonna sit this one out.
Andrea, never mind.
Look out. Mayday. Look out.
Chuck, I will start with you. Give me your analysis of the Final Four of the men's tournament.
Well, I'll tell you something that jumped out to me as we've now had a chance to digest it. Dusty May, and David made a little reference about the Big Ten, and I'll include Cignetti in this. Dusty May took 5 dudes, right? And one dude came from the University of Alabama, Birmingham. One dude came from Alabama. One dude came from North Carolina. One dude came from UCLA. And one dude came from Illinois. Those were the 5 starters on this team this year that weren't on the team last year, and they won the national championship. That guy can evaluate talent, knows how to put together the puzzle. And you got to give that guy credit. What he did was pretty freaking amazing, quite frankly. And by the way, like Cignetti, he won at the other place, University of South Florida. They
Google him.
Final Four as well.
Right.
So I was very impressed with Michigan and with Dusty May and the way they conducted themselves. And pretty cool stuff. The big fella for Michigan, I liked him. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, Mara.
The way you describe him putting together that team, does that remind you of Indiana's football team a little bit?
Exactly right. Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Greg, what do you think about the men's Final Four?
Boy, some of the best basketball I've seen in a very long time. I mean, I think that UConn must be the scrappiest team in the NC2A this year, but that's very characteristic of all of Hurley's teams. Scrappy, aggressive, go hard, fight till the last dog dies. I thought that the game before the national championship, Reed carried them. I mean, Reed is not he's not an oversized college basketball player, but man, he plays probably 3 or 4 inches taller than he is. I thought they played well. I watched Michigan play a few times this year, and I never saw them coming the way. I never saw them coming on like that. I mean, but I think that May and coaches like that, I think we're looking at the new era of college sports coach. You got to be able to put all these pieces together in a short period of time and teach them how to play together. They're all great, but how to play together and how to play well. But in Arizona, I had Arizona winning the whole thing. And I haven't seen anybody overpower, just run over Arizona the way Michigan did. They ran over them, literally. And of course, I had St. John's winning. When Duke got there against UConn, I did not see UConn beating them. And of course, that shot at the end, what can you say, man? I mean, it was a switch. It wasn't a Lucky Charms over the back, over the head hook. It was a switch. That kid knew what he was doing. I mean, that was a great shot. So just great basketball, man. Incredible basketball.
David, I think you and I are the ones who picked the championship game. So,
Arizona's.
Michigan is a great team, well put together, as Chuck was mentioning, and Dusty May has done a good job. This is the way it's going to be in college sports going forward, and unless some things change. That said, if Duke, and I'm not a Duke guy,
right?
But Michigan's nemesis would have been Duke, because Duke handled them during the season. Had Duke been in the championship game, it might have been a different story.
Yeah.
That's but Michigan was a collection of the appropriate parts to win a championship. Now, will they be really good next year? Just like Kurt Cignetti's going to have to prove he can repeat. Dusty May's going to have to prove he can repeat as well. But with all the resources that the greatest college conference in America has, I think they will be fine. Right, Big Ten?
Incontrovertible.
David, what players stood out in this tournament in your mind?
The kid from Alabama, from Michigan. What's his name? He's got
McKinney?
No, Burnett. Burnett was from Alabama.
no, I don't think Burnett's from
Oh,
Alabama.
you mean
Burnett?
Yaxel.
Yeah, he's from the University of Alabama at Birmingham.
That's right.
Birmingham.
That's right. That's right.
He to me is the best player on Michigan's team. Mara from UCLA, formerly from UCLA, he played big. He upped his NBA stock immeasurably. I'd love to have him on my Pacers. You see, I got my Pacer hat on.
Yes, you do.
We have never had the number one draft pick in all of the years we've been in the NBA, the 50 years we've been in the NBA. Maybe this year is the year, and maybe we'll get Yaxel. That's the guy I like.
Wow. Oh, hey, Al.
How's it going?
Al Richardson, my man.
Yeah, what's up, Al?
Editor extraordinaire. He's a great editor. He made my stories look good.
Another one of those Roosevelt Rough Riders, right, Greg?
There you go, Rough Rider.
Greg, what players stood out to you in this tournament?
So when I looked at UConn, again, I already mentioned Reed. I thought Reed I think he's underrated. I think he played really well. But this kid Mullins, every time I looked at, man, that boy was dropping a 3-ball. He's a really good shooter under pressure. And
where's he from? What state is he from?
No, he's from Indianapolis.
He's Indy boy. Yeah, he's Indy boy.
I just want to make sure
let
that
him
was
get away. Caravan, I thought he wasn't the best player on the floor, but he played his guts out, man. He left everything on the floor. Now, Chuck mentioned Lindeborg months ago, and I watched him a few times, and I saw he was really good. I love his story, being troubled and, getting things squared away, and his mother just putting her foot in his behind and getting him straightened out. But
time out. You love your story about being in trouble. Okay, go ahead.
I love the story about him being in trouble and his mom putting her foot in his butt and getting him straightened out. But I'm telling you, he is, I can't remember which one of the announcers said it, he's the most honest athlete in college sports. He said, man, I feel terrible. I'm not. I mean, just that, it was so refreshing. But I think he's going to be a really good pro.
Yeah.
I thought Mara played. Mara, he definitely stepped up. He became like the ultimate rim protector in the college in the NCAA tournament. And Cadeau, I thought Cadeau, man, that tough. Dude, he's a good little point guard, man. He's so quick, he could get to the basket.
Right. Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all remember him at North Carolina? Because I don't.
I remember his hair. All I remember is his hair. Really? He didn't play like that at Carolina.
I don't remember him.
Me neither.
All I remember is his hair, man. But he's
really, he was the guy that drove the car. I mean, he was that great point guard today. But
Lindeborg is something special, man.
I thought he played well, and I like Mullins, so I have to agree with you. Chuck, who did you think stood out in the tournament? In the Final Four, I'm sorry.
Again, I like the big fella, both of them, Reed and Mara. But I give that little point guard a lot of credit too. He was a leader, man, and he was tough.
Yeah,
and you got to be tough with that ball, and you got to know where to deliver it, and you got to play through that stuff. I thought he did a fantastic job.
Well, there's a reason he was the most outstanding player.
Right.
And he made very few turnovers. Here's
the thing about Mullen. I thought he might have a beautiful stroke, but he was 4 for 17. He didn't really make that many shots.
It's when he made it. It's like he made them when they really needed a basket. He came up with a big basket.
The other thing that I liked about him, Chuck, I thought he jumped and got a few rebounds.
He was
hustling
nowhere. Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised that he jumped, but maybe a little unusual for some people. Hey, before we leave college basketball, I know the president signed an executive order, and the problem I had with it, he talked with mostly coaches and former coaches, and got kind of one side of the thing. But do you really think the NCAA needs to make any changes? Part of the executive order, one of the things he said is they're limited to one unrestricted transfer a year. So I guess they can do it without permission. I guess that's what that means. Another thing is that they were going to establish an age limit for college basketball. Do you think that college basketball needs any guidelines with the portal? I know some of the stuff they were saying about changing teams, it's already been through the court, so his executive order is not going to be able to stop them from changing teams. But do you think it's out of control now? Chuck, I'll start with you.
I like it. I like it. I have to tell you, it is a lot of this stuff is above my pay grade, right? Because I don't know all, are there employees? Are there students? Are they professionals? Should they union? There's a lot that I don't know, but I just understand watching what's happening currently and giving everybody, all these schools got money, all these schools got alumni with money, and you got to put that thing together, and everything's above board now, and the players are getting compensated. I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I'm okay with it as it is now. I don't think it needs to be tweaked too much more. Although I do know they got to put some guardrails around it eventually, but I'm okay with it.
Greg.
Yeah, anytime the White House gets involved in sports, all they can do is mess up. There's nothing the White House has to offer the sports world, college, professional, sandlot, any level. Stay out of it. How about,
What about an age limit? Is the age limit necessarily a bad idea?
No. So I don't have a problem with the age limit, and here's why. Because I think there are so many different circumstances in life that delay folks. I mean, I went to St. Aug. I went to an HBCU. We had guys that went to Vietnam that fought in the war and came back with the GI Bill and went to school and were still healthy and youthful enough to play college basketball. You can't tell them they went out and fought for their country, but they can't play college basketball for their college. No, so I think there are too many different circumstances that delay folks going to college. What if you're poor and you don't have the money and you don't get offered a scholarship, but you can work your way through, and all of a sudden they find out Chuck's a pretty good basketball player. Hell, we ought to put him on a basketball team. So I got a problem with that, right? But I will say this. With regard to the college players and the NIL and the transfers, why do we never put restrictions on the coaches? Now, here's the thing. We saw back in college football that these coaches, there's a window that you can transfer as a player. But a college coach, like that clown from Mississippi, can talk to any other college, sign a contract, and go wherever he wants to, anytime he wants to. You can talk to a college football coach anytime you want and disrupt the entire college playoffs, but a player can't move. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You don't restrict the players, restrict the coaches too. It's what's good for goose is good for the gander.
Al's right. Where did all that money go back in the day?
Exactly.
I mean, I've always been an advocate for paying the players. David, what do you think?
Well, first of all, let me address the president and executive order. Anything coming from the White House and that guy should be disregarded, period. Let's just start right there. Now, the problem is the NCAA is very hesitant, slow to respond. There need to be guardrails, and the NCAA needs to take the lead in that. Those who say, well, let the big conferences get together and form their own tournament. That's absurd. That would take away everything at the Final Four and everything is done. So the NCAA, which is just miles down the street from where I live, downtown Indianapolis, has got to do a better job at policing itself and finding ways to make the sports, whether it's basketball, football, and NIL and the transfer portal, are things that they need to be on, and they're not on it. And the fact that they are not on it allows people like the president to intervene and even offer his lame opinion.
I looked at his opinion. I'm not sure how I feel about the age limit. Greg, you raised a good point. People that maybe go to the military and, don't have an opportunity, particularly when they were getting drafted back when we was in school.
Exactly.
Fine. But I think a part of the issue that's arising today is that they're going overseas getting foreign players that have been playing professionally in foreign leagues that are coming in 27, 28 years old. Maybe it's worth looking into it. Maybe, you don't need a flat rule, but it might be something worth looking into.
Well, let me speak to that real quickly. The age limit is a red herring. That's bull. How many players can we actually name that are of a certain age, 28, 29, 30? You can put my hand up and there might be two of my fingers. So it's a bogus issue. And a lot of stuff coming from the White House is bogus.
Exactly.
Well, what would it hurt going forward? I mean, I do see a potential problem. The problem I have with it is they only talk to the coaches. They didn't really talk to the coaches.
Well, that speaks to the way the White House handles things. They only talk to one side, and it's not an issue. It's not an issue.
Okay.
It's not an issue.
The White House.
I can see that as a possible. They might have stumbled onto a good idea.
Didn't earlier this year, didn't two guys who were in the pros came back and played in college? And then it went away. That whole issue went away. Everybody thought, here we go. More pros are going to come back to college.
Well, the college basketball is a professional league now too.
Right.
Well, I think, Chuck,
sports.
In that situation, those guys weren't that old. They probably left school early, and I think in both situations they would still be like juniors or seniors in college. But I think one of the football players, one of the quarterbacks, was about 26. That was playing this year.
The guy from Miami had been in Georgia.
Yeah. I mean, years ago, Chris Winkie at Florida State was like 28.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And he still got his butt whipped.
And David, you raise a good point. If it's not a problem, what problem are we solving? So I don't really know. But some of the I was trying to just look at the ideas and who presented it. I'm a little skeptical like everyone else. But all of it didn't necessarily seem that bad. When I thought of the age thing in particular.
Yeah, they're probably on to something. I think it takes some minds of some people that are deeply rooted in this and really understand all the issues before you start issuing executive orders. In typical fashion, it's ready, shoot, aim.
Well, the executive order really carries no weight because these things have already been decided in court. An executive order only applies to things that we don't have laws for. So it's already been in court and decided. So certain aspects of it you might be able to touch on, but as far as them transferring, that has already been decided.
And executive orders have time limits.
Right. Well, plus they can't be contrary to law. So the thing that Greg talked about, the way he talked about with coaches moving around, has already been fought that players can move around too. Already decided. Law's been passed. He can't change the law. Let's move to the NBA.
Yes, sir.
We're down to the last 3 or 4 games of the season. Miraculously, with Cade Cunningham out, Detroit has gone 8-2, and he's coming back today.
Yeah.
Will they come out of the East? Chuck, I'll start with you.
I said when I saw the agenda, I thought Boston would come out the East, and then I heard today Cade is coming back. Wow, that's just going to be a hell of a series. If it comes down to Detroit and Boston in the finals of the East, and Game 7 will be in Detroit, I think Detroit might get them. I do. So I'm going to go with Detroit. That's who I say is going to come out the East right now. I'm going to say
I think they split their 4 games this year. The big difference is Tatum didn't play in any of those games. So keep that in mind. David, who you like coming out of the East?
There's no question. It's the Boston Celtics. Detroit is a good team. They're the school. They're from the school of very good. They're not great. They're not ready yet, and they may never be ready. I see them as like my Pacers were in the 90s, just knocking at the door, but not quite there. Boston is a proven team with 2 players who are superstars. And Boston's the best team in the East when all is said and done.
I will only challenge that statement by saying Boston got beat by the Knicks in the playoffs, in that same playoffs last year, and they had the same guys you're talking about.
Well, it doesn't matter. Knicks, right. The Knicks got, hey, Kung Fu, stop it.
David is a hater.
Kung Fu, stop it.
Ray, your thoughts?
So, again, I give a lot of credit to Detroit, man. They are a rough and tumble basketball team. But the Celtics, I'm telling you, I just don't think they can beat the Celtics in 7 games. But it's going down to game 7, probably down to the last shot. It's going to be a physical, rough and tumble, who can emerge victoriously get kind of game. I mean, I lean toward the Celtics because I also think Joe Mazzulla's gotten better. He's coming on. He's really. I wasn't that high on him for a few years. I'm like, maybe they threw him out there a little too soon. I mean, they had to because the other coach screwed up. Right. But he's coming along, man. So I give the Celtics the edge. Best playoff experience. Just those two, Jaylen Brown and Tatum. Well, that's a hard duo to beat. Boy.
And the other guy is good too. What's White? What's his name?
Yeah, White's good.
He's kind of like the unsung hero.
He's a sleeper cell. Yeah, he's a sleeper cell.
He's a sleeper cell, right?
The thing that impressed me, the guy Damas Jenkins, that took the place of Cade Cunningham.
Yeah,
wasn't even getting much time at first, and it seemed like all of a sudden, boom.
He signed a 2-way contract at the beginning of the year. He was just nothing. I think he played at Radford College or something for a year or so. Yeah. And when Cunningham was out, when Cunningham was out, they went, like Larry said, 8-2, 8-3, and he was playing. He was doing well.
He was one of those players you hadn't heard of, right, Chuck?
No, that's one of those exactly, David. And I'm like, I could Google him and I did research. I was like, who in the world?
I was sitting at the game Googling them, man. I didn't know who any of these guys were. I'm telling you.
I got to give their coach a lot of credit too. Both coaches are great in that.
Yeah.
So based on what you guys are talking about, it seems like you think those two might be the finalists in the Eastern Conference.
I think so.
Anybody have anything to say about the New York Knicks?
I was loving the Knicks, but okay. The Knicks have lost their mojo. And let me tell you what I mean by mojo. Under Thibodeau, they had an identity. They had a culture. They were tough-minded. They played a short bench. They were tough. They've lost that, and they can't seem to get it back. And more importantly, Bridges, I don't know what has happened to Bridges. Bridges has lost his game. They gave up 4 first-round picks and a swap and gave Bridges a big contract. Boy, they might be regretting that whole situation.
They gave up a lot to get him.
They gave up a lot to get him. And I don't know what's going on, but Bridges is not so I'm not on the Knicks as much as I was, even as recently as a week or two ago.
David, how do you feel about the Knicks? You think they've fallen off like Chuck said, or did they
overachieve
last year?
I ain't thinking about the Knicks.
No, you don't like them.
I mean, well, you're right, Chuck. I don't like them.
Right.
But they're a one-on-one team, and
you didn't say that again. I just put that up there again.
Put that up again. What did that say?
You said David is a hater.
Well, I hate the Knicks.
That's exactly what
I don't apologize for that. I don't apologize for that. They're not going anywhere. Man. And it's not that I don't like Mike Brown. I think Mike Brown is a very good coach. His record is good. And Thibodeau, we can sing praises to Thibodeau all we want, but he wears the players out.
Yeah, he burns them out.
That was his Piccadilly all the time.
Yeah,
was wearing players out. So Mike Brown and Thibodeau, they're kind of a wash. The Knicks are a middle-of-the-road team, slightly better than that, and they're one of the top 3 teams or 4 teams in the East. But that's not good enough.
Yeah.
Greg, your opinion on New York?
So and I really want to like the Knicks. I want to see them. They can't go. Their depth is not. They can't. they can't go beyond 7 players. When they get beyond that, and you can't go through the playoffs with, you got to have 8 or 9 players that you can count on in the playoffs. And, Mike Brown, it's something missing in his coaching. I'm not sure what it is. It's something missing, but you're right, Chuck. They don't have the identity they had with Thibodeau. He might have ground them down to a nub, but they had an identity. They were all grit, grinders, and they fought to the last dog died. But this team, yeah, they I don't even think they can be a spoiler. I mean, I at one point during the season, I thought, man, they may be.
They could get beat in the first round.
Yeah,
or second round. They could get beat
they're
early.
not going to be around very long. Yeah.
Well, Greg, you mentioned spoiler. Who do you think might be a spoiler in the East? If
So-
somebody's going to upset the apple cart,
I-
a lot of times that happens every year. One team kind of comes up,
So
knocks off one of the top teams.
So the Cavaliers they're in the top 4 teams, right? So
Correct.
you can't really call them a spoiler, but I have very low expectations for them, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know that there is a spoiler in the East, but if I had to pick one, I would say Cleveland, if they exceed expectations, they could be a problem. They are so tall. They're a big team. I just think their coach, I think they're still living off Bickerstaff. I think that coach sucks. I think
Good
he's
guards.
terrible. I think the coach is terrible.
David, you got a spoiler for us?
There are 2 spoilers that I've identified that just might shock everyone: Toronto and Atlanta. We don't like to talk about those 2 teams,
Yeah.
but do not be surprised if an upset happens with Toronto or Atlanta, because they played well. We just don't talk about them.
Chuck, anybody catch your
I
eye?
don't disagree with David. I know this is, and I'm going to be a little controversial here too. If those 4 dudes from Philly can play healthy and together, and by those 4 dudes, I mean Paul George, Embiid, Maxey, VJ Edgemont, if they could just get it together, and they've got other pieces too to go around them, I don't know.
Chuck.
He said a long shot. He said a spoil. He didn't. I wouldn't bet on them, David. I agree with you, but they do have some pieces.
The moment you mentioned Paul George, I was done.
He's actually playing well, and they played well in the few games that all of them have been there. I'm gonna throw one other team out there. I saw them play last night. Charlotte.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
just the first of the year, they played very well. And I saw them
Limited
play
now.
Boston last night, and they gave them all they could handle.
Yeah. There's a guy's name going to come up. We're going to talk about this later, I'm sure. But that guy Knopel, who's been on that team this year as a rookie, he's really helped them out.
Absolutely. Let's turn to the West for a second.
By the way, Larry, who do you have coming out the East?
I was all in the Boston's camp all this year, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I gotta take my hat off to Detroit now. I look at them having a little more experience, and I think that might make the difference between them.
Yeah.
And
And I
Tatum,
know the reason I say
and Tatum being back.
Yeah.
because they got the best record in the East. I'm just saying Game 7 is going to be in Detroit. That's the only reason I gave them the edge. there.
Tatum being back is kind of pushing me more into Boston's camp, and he seems to be sort of getting into shape at the right time.
He looks good.
So Chuck, who's coming out of the West?
It's going to be Oklahoma City, but I'm rooting for San Antonio. And the reason I say Oklahoma City and I say it clearly like that is because I don't know what this injury to Wemby is going to, it's changed it for me a little bit, this whole Wemby thing. So if you're telling me that Wemby's going to be healthy, I'd say San Antonio, but I don't know that.
He's
So
expected to maybe miss one game.
Okay, well then, again, that's going to be the final of the East. Of the West. It's going to be Oklahoma City versus OKC, and the Game 7 in that case is going to be in OKC. So I would give OKC an edge there. Although
David, tell them who's going to win the West, man.
I'm rooting for Wemby in
It's either OKC or the Spurs, but I would say there's something about Wemby's body that just suggests a potential injury again. So in that case, it's his injury is guiding my perspective. OKC is going to win the West. But I'd like Chuck, I'd like to see San Antonio win
I
it.
would too.
Greg, who's going to win?
OKC, man. OKC. Listen, Spurs are going to challenge hard, but OKC, first of all, those boys got the best defensive hands in the NBA. You bring that ball anywhere near them, it's gone. SGA always rises to the occasion. They're a complete team, man. I'm not ready to dethrone them just yet, but San Antonio, they're going to challenge hard.
So let me ask each of you a question, and I'll start with you, Greg. Can Denver beat either of those teams in the playoffs?
So Denver, I'm telling you, man, they are scary. They are scary. Joker and Murray, man, those guys are scary. I think they could beat. They could sneak up on. I think they could sneak up on the Spurs. I don't think they can sneak up on OKC. OKC knows. I think they know how good they are, and they'll be ready for them. But I think the playoff inexperience of San Antonio could hurt them, especially against the Nuggets. Those boys know they've won a championship. They know what it takes to win, and they're gonna come hard. Nuggets gonna come hard.
David, you normally pick the Nuggets a lot. Do you think they could beat either of those teams?
Yeah, they could beat either. They have the most complete player in basketball in Nikola Jokic, period. As much as we love, Wemby and SGA, Jokic is the best player in basketball on the globe, period. So Denver has a chance, and that 1-2 combination that Denver has, they've won a championship. They can beat either of those teams.
What do you think, Chuck?
So they had a great game this week since we had our last show.
Oh, yeah.
Denver played San Antonio.
Overtime.
And, went into overtime. Joker had 40. Wemby had 34. Both of them had, a plethora of rebounds and assists. It was a hell of a game, and it looked like a playoff game. So yes, Denver could beat either one of those teams, but I don't think they could beat them in 7. I just don't think that's happening. I think it's gonna be OKC and San Antonio.
Well, the way it looks right now is like second and third are going to be Denver and San Antonio. So whoever wins that will have to also beat OKC if things go according to plan. One observation that I made about that game is, you guys hear me as a short guy always saying sports is about angles and timing. Okay, now I'm looking at Joker, who's not a short guy, but compared to Wemby, he is. But the angles and timing, he's got that down pat because athletically, he's not nearly as athletic as Wemby. But gosh, he picks his moments and
he's so smart.
Yes, and he's got great basketball sense. That was a great game.
It was a great game. I mean, the guy, look, from the 5 spot, we've said this multiple times on the show over the last few weeks, from the 5 spot, leads the NBA in triple doubles. He's averaging a triple double for the year.
But look at where he's playing on the court, though. He's not back to the basket. He's everywhere on that court, and his angles, as you're talking about, are as Larry's talking about, is spectacular.
And the thing about that, see, defensively, even though Wemby did okay defensively, when he's got to guard Joker, it takes away from his help defense for everybody else. And when Joker's scoring 40 points, he gets his attention.
You know what's interesting about that, though? He didn't check Wemby. Joker checked. They put Aaron Gordon as well. Joker didn't check Wemby, but Wemby checked Joker.
Yeah, but that takes Joker's defense. It takes Wemby's defense from help, because a big part of his game is help defense.
No doubt. Well, maybe they make the adjustment. I don't know.
Maybe they make. When I saw that game, it made me think about, wow, I'm not sure how they match. And everything is about matchups. That's the whole thing.
So you can help me out with this, Larry. So if San Antonio has to play Denver to get to the finals, the Western Conference Finals, if let's say the OKC is playing like the Lakers, by the time the San Antonio Spurs get to the finals, they will be really beat up from a series with Denver. That could change the whole outcome of that series if they're playing against. But I don't know the brackets.
Or
Greg,
they could
Greg,
be
that's gonna
very
be the-
prepared because they had a great opponent. They
Yeah.
might be very on top of their game.
But a 7-game series with Denver, man, you're gonna be exhausted. That's if you get out alive. If you get
You know
out
what?
alive.
I think everybody's going to be exhausted at this time.
Okay. All right.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
They could be beat up or they could be really on top of their game. Because I'm not sure OKC could do much more to them than Denver could do to them.
Oh, I don't think so. Oh, I think you're right. I really don't.
They've been beat up all year too, OKC. I mean, Jay
Yeah.
Will hasn't played that much this year.
Yeah,
You're
he has
right.
not. He really hasn't.
So in the West, and last week I said that I thought the Lakers would fit this period, but who could be the spoiler out there, the surprise team there that nobody wants to really face? And I know the Lakers are struggling right now with all those injuries. Chuck, I'll start with you.
I think it's OKC, San Antonio, and Denver. Period. Not the rest of them is a distant. But if of the group that's the distant group, maybe Houston. Maybe Houston with KD and Sagoon and that crew, and they play a little. They're a little tough-minded. Maybe they could do something, but I don't think so. I think those three teams are just so much better than the rest of them.
David, surprise spoiler in the West.
I haven't checked the standings, so I'm not certain they're playoff eligible. But the team, every time I look up, I see Phoenix is always winning some games. They could spoil. Booker is a Hall of Fame worthy player. They at least have a superstar. Phoenix is the possible team that could spoil something in the West.
Yeah, I watched them play last night against Houston. Very physical game. Oh my goodness. What's the guy, the Canadian guy that always starts stuff?
Brooks.
Right.
Dylan Brooks.
Houston was going after him.
Him and KD were talking smack to each other.
And another guy in Houston knocked him down with a pick and stepped over him. I mean, it was going back and forth a lot.
He's had a good year for them, though. Brooks has had a good year for Phoenix.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Greg, spoiler.
So if Anthony Edwards can hold it together, the T-Wolves could spoil some things for people. But he's just, for me, he has this volatile side of him that he can't. He struggles with focus, but man, he is he might be the most explosive player in the NBA on any given night, man. This guy can just take off from the free throw line and dunk on everybody. But so I think they could. I wouldn't rule Houston out because Udoka. I think he is just a phenomenal coach. He knows how to get teams up and riled up and ready to go. So I would say those two, the T-Wolves to a lesser degree, but the Rockets, they could spoil some things for people.
Yeah.
So let me throw this out at you guys. We're getting close to the end. We got about 7 more minutes. In the past week, both Giannis and Embiid have been benched by their teams. I'm thinking Embiid because they didn't want to play in back-to-back games, and Giannis because I think they don't want to make the playoffs. But both players were complaining about being healthy and not being able to play. How do we handle this? The teams are saying they're medically unable to play. The players are saying they can play. And the NBA is supposed to be investigating. David, you think anything will come out of this?
No. I think nothing. I mean, Giannis wanting to play is baloney. And I really love Giannis's game. He's one of the greatest players I've ever seen. But he wants to get his brothers to some playing time. He wants to play with them. Milwaukee's not even in a sniffing distance of doing anything in the playoffs. There's only a couple more games. There's no need for an investigation. It'd be a waste of time. Yeah. And Embiid, the same thing too.
He's averaging 27 points and 22 rebounds and shooting 60-something%. He might want to play. I mean, Embiid's team is in the playoffs, but I think they don't want to play him back.
Embiid is an injury waiting to happen. He's hurt.
Greg, how do you feel about? Is it a difference between the teams not playing them or limiting their minutes, or claiming they're inactive and not even putting them into the game?
So I think it's two different scenarios, but in both cases, the teams are right. And I'll take a page out of Gene Wilder's book and Willie Walker. You're wrong. Good day, sir. You lose. Listen, let me tell you, man. Embiid is a 7-foot porcelain doll. He can walk under a doorway and bump his head and be out for 3 weeks, man. So for them, they're in the playoffs. Sit him down. Don't risk injury. You don't gain anything from it, right? Now, with Giannis, so what I read was part of Giannis's clearance to play was a 3-on-3. They needed him to play 3-on-3 to see how he does. He wouldn't do it. He refused to do it. So if you refuse to go by the teams, whatever they set out, as here's how we clear you to play, then again, you lose. Good day, sir. You do what they tell you to do. And that's their team. You don't get to pick how they clear you to play. So I think the teams are right in both cases.
Chuck, what do you think? Players
I
want to play?
agree with Greg. It's unfortunate that this Giannis thing is going to has ended up ugly, and it's a shame. But I don't think Giannis is going to be there next year. I don't think Doc Rivers is going to be there next year. I think Milwaukee will be a complete rebuild, and it's time for Giannis. I hate to say it, shut up. Just shut up. Take the money and just sit. Just shut up.
I tell you where Doc Rivers will be. He'll be in Springfield, Massachusetts.
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
And I know you hate that, Chuck.
I know it's all you guys' favorite, or at least two of you guys' favorite.
and the latest on him, he told his team,
Right.
Google me. I'm thinking teams like Google.
Well, if they Google him, Greg, they would see he was up 3-1 3 separate times and lost.
Yes, you have blown more leads than I can imagine. Google me. Oh, come on, Doc. Come on, man.
Okay, one of the final questions. Who's the NBA Rookie of the Year and why? Greg, we'll start with you.
Cooper Flag. I think Cooper Flag, I'm not just because he hit 53 one night, but the maturity he has shown over the season is incredible. Cooper Flag.
Chuck, who's the Rookie of the
I
Year?
like Cooper. I mean, I don't dislike Cooper, right? I like him too. But somebody on a bad team got to score. And what they've done with Cooper, especially the last 3 weeks, everything is fed through him. They're like they're trying to get him the Rookie of the Year situation. I think that him and Knoepel, the guy from Charlotte, why wouldn't just make them both co-Rookie of the Years? I remember when Jason Kidd and Grant Hill were both co-Rookie of the Year that same year that they were rookies. So I would be okay. What Knoepel has done is Charlotte is like we said earlier in the show, they're relevant. And he's the big reason why they're relevant. He's averaging 18, 19 points, shooting the hell out of threes. So I would be okay if they were both made Rookies of the Year.
Knoepel is leading the league in 3-point percentage.
Gee.
And they're winning some games.
Yeah.
So Dallas is not winning. Dallas is not winning games.
It's not even a contest. Cooper Flag is so phenomenally gifted. He better win the Rookie of the Year. NBA would be stupid to give it to anybody else. Even his former roommate, Con Knoepel, who's having a great year. Sorry, Knoepel doesn't sell any tickets, doesn't change the ratings. The NBA needs to build around Cooper Flag. He's one of the most phenomenal young players I have ever seen. And all of us have seen a lot of basketball. Cooper Flag is in the top 10 of all time rookies, period. He's Rookie of the Year.
Well, my opinion, I thought it was neck and neck. Maybe with Knoepel with a slight edge until Cooper had that 50-point game. Now I think it's back.
And he had a 45-point game against LeBron the other night. They went back. The two of them went really at each other. So
And he'll dunk on anybody.
yeah.
So last question, who's going to be the starting five on the All-NBA team? Keep in mind, Kate Cunningham is only going to be able to play 64 games. Luka only has 64 games, and he's out for the rest of the season.
Well, Wemby's at 64 too.
But he's supposed to miss the next game, but he's got possibly 2 more games, and he has to play at least 20 minutes in both of those games.
Yeah.
Who's the starting lineup? David, I'll start with you.
It's a hard one because I don't know exactly. Luka's kind of eliminated himself almost. Cade Cunningham is going to have to appeal. But I'm just going to do it this way. The best players, because all NBA teams now are irrespective of position. Wemby, SGA, Jaylen Brown, Cade Cunningham, Jokic, and Luka. Those are the best players.
But those two
in the
of
NBA.
them can't make it. They ain't going to get 65 games.
Well,
So give me two more players.
I've given you 5. Wemby,
You gave me
SGA,
two that
Jaylen.
are not going to be eligible. Luka and Cade.
Do we know that for sure, Larry?
We don't know that. We
we don't
don't.
know.
I think the
Yeah,
NBA
Luka's out for the season and he doesn't have it. Cade only has to go to 64.
Listen,
Luka
only
played
has
in
61
64
games.
the
games.
NBA can do whatever it wants, and I think they may make an exception. They make an injury exception for both players.
Both of them have been ruled out.
Well,
Okay.
I'm just giving you the best
Okay.
players in the league this year.
I kind of agree with David. Those were my 5.
But
My
if
five
two
was
can't
Luka.
make it, and this is the challenge for you. Two can't make it. Who are we replacing them with?
All right, I'm gonna play by your rules, Larry. I'm gonna play
It's the
by
league
the rules.
rules. It ain't my rules.
All right, Wemby, SGA, Jaylen Brown, and Jokic.
That's
You need
4,
one
right?
more.
No,
You need one.
1, 2,
3,
3,
4.
4, 5.
Oh, you
Jokic, Jaylen Brown, SGA, Wemby, and Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, that's number 5.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Anthony Edwards.
Chuck, who do you have?
I had what David said, but I'll play nice in the sandbox. So I would add. So you take Luka and Wemby off the list if that's what you're suggesting.
No, Wemby's not off. Cunningham and
Excuse me.
Luka.
If you take Luka, because I had Luka on my 5. So if I take Luka off the list, I would put Kawhi Leonard on there.
Kawhi's had a great year.
Yeah,
him.
Kawhi's
For him.
played
I
63 games.
don't know
so-
why people don't talk about Kawhi like right now.
I thought he should have been mentioned.
I
Yeah.
swear, I don't understand it. But I
So
put
who are
Kawhi.
the 5 that you have, Chuck?
I'd have Kawhi, Wemby, Brown, Joker, and SGA.
Okay. David, you're in trouble for not following the rules.
Hey, I'm a rule breaker.
that was the reason for the question, because
I'm a rule breaker.
some of them are going to be a
That
little
was hard, though. That was really hard. That was
Well, that's
hard.
why that was like
Yeah.
your trivia question for the
That
week.
was hard.
Well, but they may make an exception for Cade Cunningham. It's not been ruled out.
I haven't heard
I've read.
any-
And they
Talk
might,
about
and they
that.
might, and they might put Wemby in for Wemby. They might put Luka in for 20. I don't know. I don't know what they might do. I don't have a. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's hard to say.
Well, the
Might
season's
I
over
was
next
shocked.
week.
I was shocked today to hear that Cade Cunningham was playing today. I didn't think Cade was playing anymore this
I
year.
thought he was done.
Right.
So here's your trivia question. What was the last team west of the Mississippi to win the NCAA championship? And when was that?
Men's.
The last team to win the
West
NCAA
of the
championship.
West
Mississippi.
of the
Men's
Mississippi.
team. West of the Mississippi.
Arizona.
Arizona, 1995. 95 or
Any
97.
other guesses? I heard 2 Arizonas. You have one, Greg?
No, I don't think it was Arizona. I give.
It was Arizona.
It was. I did not think it was
1998.
Arizona.
1998.
Wow.
And with
I
that,
knew.
we'll go to our closing comments. Greg, you have closing comments.
Yes, and I will be real quick. I've already beat the stuffing out of Gino, but here's one thing I will say. I am so tired of male sports broadcasters and commentators taking the easy road. Drea Carter and Shanae, they when they asked them what they thought about Gino's actions, they came correct. They were strong. They called it like they saw it, and they didn't duck, throw a rock, and hide behind a corner. I saw Seth Greenberg on ESPN talking about it wasn't a good look for either coach. Bull crap, Seth. Bull crap. Call it like it is. I'd love to see one day when these men step up and be men instead of the women like Drea Carter having to carry all the water and call people out when they do things wrong. That's it.
Amen.
David, any closing comments?
I wonder if she's
Absolutely.
single.
There is a closing comment for me. Bottom line, I think is not a question, and nobody should debate this anymore. Indianapolis should be the home of the Final Four and other national championships from this great day forward. There is no city that does a better job of hosting championship games. No city. I don't think, no, it's not even close. Chuck, you'll agree with that.
Well, I think they are one of them, but I think Las Vegas and LSU, New Orleans, there are other
Las
cities.
Vegas is a lot of walking. Everything in Indianapolis is set up. So anyway, that's my closing comment.
Chuck, any closing comments?
Yes, I had to follow that up with another Indiana theme, but I'm going to do it right now. Quinn Buckner, Bobby Wilkerson, Scott May, Tom Abernathy, and Kent Benson. And they paid tribute to that five. That was the last team that went undefeated in college basketball in 1976, 50 years ago. I was a sophomore at Indiana. I'd never seen basketball players so big in my life. And when I say big, I mean muscle from milk, just thick. And I thought it was really classy the way the NCAA handled that and brought them out in Indianapolis and gave them a ring and celebrated
in the appropriate city to be highlighted.
And by the way, they beat Michigan in the finals that year. It was the third time that year that they beat Michigan. And Michigan had Phil Hubbard and Grody and Ricky Green, one of the fastest guards I've ever seen play. And just shout out to that 1976 team.
Well, I'm going to give you a hand on that, Chuck. You know, I know we're not supposed to talk about anybody's closing comments, but I think this South Carolina women's team went undefeated in 2024. So they were actually the last team to do it.
Well, I should have stipulated the men's basketball team.
I couldn't resist. That was a good comment. I remember that. I didn't know you were going to Indiana at that time, but I followed that team.
Sophomore.
They were absolutely great.
They
But
should have
that's
won
all
in
we have for
75.
today. Thank everybody for tuning in. We appreciate all you guys' comments. Guys,
job,
you did a
Larry.
great job. And we'll
Nice
see you
job.
guys next week. Who's hosting? David, you don't
I
host
think
next
it's my turn.
I'm
No, it's
sorry.
mine.
I was asking.
It's mine.
It's yours.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
even
mine.
David and Chuck will host next week.
It'll
So
be me. It'll be me.
everyone take care.
Great night, everybody.
Love, guys. See y'all later.